What happened? What was the final score?
56-48.
Yeah?
It was the highest score in the game.
All right.
Okay, so I kind of have a question for all of you. Do you do whatever you can just to skate on by life, just thinking everything will come your way, and you like don't know what you're going to school for, but you know what you're good at, and it's just going to come to you? Or do you do everything you can in your power to succeed, to improve, to make sure all that falls into line for you? Today in my first class, or my writing class, we had to write an essay. In class summary on they're basically schools are starting to ban getting the letter D, because D is like F. You get a D, you get an F. Like you're not trying your best to get an A, B, or C. So why have a D? Just to pass? Colleges aren't going to look at the D. They're just going to like not accept you if you have tons of D's. You know. So my quote is, my quote is by Lander. It says, I've known what is to be hungry, but I've always went straight to the restaurant. I agree with that. I'm just like that. I agree that because I always try my best to succeed and be the best I can be, and I never ever not plan the whole day out. Like I have my calendar all laid out and everything. So my first thing to show that I agree with, I knew what it is to be hungry, but I go straight to the restaurant, is I started my first job at age 14. I lived in Washington. It was called Ecology Youth Corps. I picked up trash on the side of the road all summer, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, and it paid $12. And back then, minimum wage was only $6.75. I don't know if you remember. And I saved all that money, well, because my mom wouldn't let me touch it. And then I moved here at age 15, and I started working at Subway. You know, at Subway, you can start working there at age 15 and a half. You don't have to be 16. And there was a Subway right down the street from my house, so I would walk to Subway. I would work after school, and I would walk home. And then at the age of 16, I started working for Vaughn's, which was union. I didn't really like all that. And ever since then, I've always worked. I've always went to school and worked. Another thing is school. I agree with that quote because in school, like, I've had like a lot of learning disabilities when I was younger, and so just for me to thrive, instead of saying like, oh, I can't do this, everyone's smarter than me, I'm way behind in school. You know, I had a tutor. For tests, I take the final exam and I tape record it. When I'm driving in my car, I play it so that way, like, I memorize, I know I'm loud. I memorize, like, you know, my test, and I sleep with it at night because you're supposed to, like, remember when you hear it at night. Yeah, just in school, I can never settle. If I get a C, to this day, I still, you know, get all bent out of shape. And then also, just my parents, you know, at age 18, like, kind of cut me off. Like, you know, they wanted me to be super independent. And I was like, fine, I got this. And so I moved out, and I just didn't, like, wasn't, like, poor me. Oh, you know, my parents don't pay for my car. They don't pay for anything for me. I got out, but I still work 2 jobs. I go to school full time. I'm always working everything, and I'd rather work now and do my best now to succeed later. So when I'm 23, everyone else that's partying and stuff, I go for a job interview, I'll have all these references, you know, more job experience, and I just want to keep going, and I just don't ever just want things to fall into place for me. So basically, everyone should thrive to be the best they can be, and just don't sit back. Just don't sit back and say, oh, this is going to fall into place for me. Work hard, and do your best.
Charger shirt, just like.
No, that's your souvenir for the day.
I don't need to. A second
forgot my next point.
All right, I like the rhetorical question you start with. You've got a good story that you make a reference to, and you tell us what the topic is and give us an explanation about how you see these things being connected. That's good. There's not really any preview of what's coming up. Internally, there is a structure. I can kind of pick that out, but it would be so much easier to follow if you had set that up at the beginning of the speech. I like the illustrations that you provide us. You've got some good personal stories to make it interesting, and that's fine, and you're always giving us your insight on those points. The presentation things are really solid for the most part. Your voice projects well. I don't think you're loud. I just think you're very clear. So no problem there. And there's a lot of energy in what you're doing. I thought you had some nice natural descriptive gestures while you were talking. Your facial expressions are pretty animated. The notes in your hand seemed a little distracting. I think that you tend to look down at them, and it's not really necessary. It's just a crutch that people are going to in a situation like that. So you could probably get rid of that. And I thought that you had a very solid exit line, and you seemed involved in the presentation from the very beginning. All right, can somebody ask Matt to come in, please?